Alright, welcome to my religious life video blog. And I meant to tell you it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be, you guessed it, you know what that means. You know what I'm talking about. Trust me about that as well. Anyways, it's gonna be fourth Sunday of Lent. And I meant to tell you it's all good. And it's from the book of Luke, chapter 15. Says that you know what that means, the pearl of the lost sheep. That means now the tax collectors and sinners were coming near to listen to him, and the Pharisees and the scribes were grumbling and saying, "This fellow welcomes sinners and eats with them." That's why he told a parable, and you know what I'm talking about. So here is the parable of this prodigal son and his brother. You know what that means. Jesus said on verse 11 says, "There was a man who had two sons. The younger of them said to his father, 'Father, give me the share of the property that will belong to me.' So he divided his property between them, and a few days later, that means you guessed a few days later, you know what I'm talking about. So here's my observation for you. So on verse 13 says, a few days later, the younger son gathered and all he had and traveled to a distant country. And there he squandered his property in a dissolute living. And when he had spent everything, a severe famine took the place throughout that country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to the one of the citizens that of that country, who sent him to his fields to feed the pigs. Oh, hello. Why do you feed the pigs at a time like this? He would gladly filled himself with the pods that the pigs were eating, and no one gave him anything. But when he came to himself, he said, "How many of my father's hired hands have bread enough and to spare? But here I am, dying of hunger." Well, just here's my observation for you. Dying of hunger. Well, and this is what happens. You want to die of hunger and die of thirst, and makes a lot of sense about this. And you know what I'm saying, because everybody knows has losing it, as far as we're concerned about this one. How about explaining this to wrap this up? And bread enough and all that, dying of thirst, because everything else can be civilized about. On verse 18 says, "I will get up and go to my father, and I will say to him, Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son. Treat me like one of your hired hands." So he set off. So he set off. And went to his father. But while he was still far off, his father saw him and was filled with compassion. He ran and put his arms around him and kissed him. Then the son said to him, "Father, I have sinned against heaven and before you. I am no longer worthy to be called your son." But the father said to his slaves, "Quickly, bring out a robe, the best one, and put on," you guessed it, put it on him. "Put a ring on his finger and sandals on his feet. And get the fatted calf and kill it. Oh, it sounds like eating Omaha steaks, you know. So I'm just to clarify this. Anyways, oh yes. So, what about verse 24? Yes, about the fatted calf and kill it and let us eat and celebrate. Yes, for this, on verse 24 it says, "For this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found." And they began to celebrate. Now, here's my observation for you. Now his elder son was in the field. When he came and approached the house, he was heard music and dancing. He called one of the slaves and asked what was going on. This is what he replied. "Your brother has come." You guessed it. "Come, and your father has killed the fatted calf, and because he got him back safe and sound." And then on verse 28 says, then he became angry. Yeah, mad as and he refused to go in. His father came out and began to plead with him. But he answered his father, "Listen, for all these years I have been working like a slave for you, and I have never disobeyed your commands. Yet you have never given me even a young goat so that I might celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours came back, who has devoured him, your property, and with prostitutes, you killed the fatted calf for him." And then the father said to him, "Son, you are always with me, and all that is mine is yours. But we had to celebrate and rejoice, because this brother of yours was not dead, and has come to life. And he was, lost, and has been found." So here's my, as far as we're concerned. Because now, this is what happens, as I heard Father Tony's message on a message at my church this morning about the prodigal son and his brother, and all this, and you know what I'm talking about. It sounds like Bugs Bunny. I have no clue whatsoever. Well, who knows? I bet he made a mistake about this one. Yeah, I know. Anyways, so wrap this up as fast as I can. The Pharisees and the scribes are criticizing Jesus because of his associated with tax collectors and sinners. And that's why Jesus responds a parable. And you know why? Because it has it illustrated. And you know what? I'm meant to tell all this. Because here's the third illustration for you. Is a son who follows a selfish and sinful lifestyle, who takes all the money he can afford from his father, and at the end, seriously, at the end of the period, he was wasted everything for this lifestyle, and then he comes back to life, to his father, to life, and praying for forgiveness to his father. And that's why he is ready to restore and have the joyness and the heart of his father, who runs to welcome him and treats him with great love and generosity and respect. God the Father is like this to sinners who repent and come to him. Because the Father, seeks to bring his older son into the blessing of forgiveness of his wayward brother. So, you know what I mean. It's the moral of my religious life. But my religious life video blog story is this. You guessed it, fourth Sunday of Lent, and why? Because the older son is obviously jealous at his brother's return and undeserved welcome, because the second son, in some ways, and seemed harder to win than the first. And may churches and Christians beware. That's all for now. And that's my religious life video blog story. My religious life video story blog, and I'm sticking to it. Coming next, gonna be hashtag Almost Warriors only on Facebook Watch, and I can see Hope Brian's here. Stay with us.